Yeah, good afternoon everyone. Today we are going to start the new topic, that is artificial neural networks. That is the second part of the unit 2. Uh, if you have any doubts or anything, please post in the chat box. Uh, for the next topic, the artificial neural networks is basically that uh, how the neural network is basically means that how the human brain works, how the human being is working. So to mimic that thing into the computer, so that is basically the neural networks that is basically used in human mind, and if you are doing it artificially, then it is artificial neural networks. So this is in this we will do about the history of the artificial neural networks, what is artificial neural network, how it works, and its learning, supervised and unsupervised learning, application area, advantage, disadvantages of artificial neural networks. We will study all about in this lecture. Artificial neural networks start from the very beginning of 1940, and it is not new. It is started very old, but it took major step in 1957 when Rosenblatt introduced the first concrete neural model that is known as perceptron. We will also study this model, the perceptron model. This is very basic model, and we will study in detail also. Rosenblatt also took part in constructing the first successful neurocomputer, the Mark 1 perceptron. After this, the development of ANN has been proceeded. The 1957 is the starting of the ANN, in which the Rosenblatt has given the first model of perceptron. So that is the point where the things started happening in artificial neural networks. Rosenblatt original perceptron model contained only one layer. There is one layer, what is the layers? We will study little later. Then from one layer, the multi-layer model is developed. That multi-layer model is basically that from one layer we will able to include more than one layer. When it is more than one layer, it is known as multi-layer perceptron model. When it consists of single layer, then it is single layer perceptron or the perceptron model, simple perceptron model. And the multi-layer perceptron model, which came into existence in 1960, and in 1974, Burgos came to introduce the so-called back propagation algorithm for the three-layer perceptron model. This is an important perceptron model. We will also going to study about the detail about the back propagation algorithm in the coming classes when we study more details about the artificial neural network. Then in 1986, the application area of multi-layer perceptron network remained rather limited than backthrough when a general backpropagation algorithm for a multi-layer perceptron was introduced by Roman Hart and Macmillan. But we are not going into much details of this because this is not part of this course. In 1982, Hopfield brought out this idea of neural network. Unlike the neurons in MLP, that is multi-layer perceptron, the Hopfield network consists of only one layer whose neurons are fully connected with each other. What are fully connected networks? What are the networks? We are also not going to detail in this part. This course is dealing till back propagation perceptron and some part of modified of the back propagation perceptron. We will deal with the some part in the gradient basis function if the time permits, and if that happens, some part in the course. These LQI, LVQ, SOM are not in use. Hopfield network is we will not going to discuss that part. That are very advanced network, and they are basically for the research purposes. So that is not used. The final model is still now into existence is about the improved model is the self-organizing map or the SOM. SOM is certain kind of topological map which organizes itself based on the input patterns that it is trained with. The SOM originally from the LVQ model, that is a linear vector quantization network, and underlying idea of which was known as Cornell networks in 1972. This thing is uh, already being very much into existence after LBQ SBSI came into existence, and this kind of neural networks are able to automatically learn about the input patterns. They organize themselves based on the input patterns itself. So they don't need to be trained much. They don't need to be trained, but they don't need to be provided that kind of output as well. We are also not going to study in details about the SQM and LVQ as that are not part of this course. This course is basics about the artificial neural networks. Uh, since then, research on the artificial neural network has been active, leading to many network types as well as hybrid algorithms and hardware for neural information processing. So, we will do the basics of the artificial neural network in this course and in some part in details too. What basically the artificial neural network is? An artificial neural network consists of a pool of simple processing units which communicate by sending signals to each other over a large number of weighted connections. Basically, the artificial neural network are basically the simple processing units. Simple processing units are such a way that they communicate with one another by sending signals from one simple processing unit. The signal is moved toward the another processing unit, such that connection between them is a weighted connection. We will see them in a little later. Artificial neural networks are a set of a major aspects of parallel distributed model include. So parallel distributed kind of model, a massively parallel distributed kind of model. It includes a set of processing units, also known as cell, a state of activation for every unit, which is equivalent to the output unit. It will have an activation unit for the output unit, some are the processing unit, input unit, and the output unit. Connection between the units. Generally, each connection is defined by a weight, a propagation rule, which determines the effective input of a unit from its external input, an activation function, which determines the new level of activation based on the effective input and the current activation. The kind of activations are say 10x activation and other activations. We will study the details about these functions in the coming classes. An external input for each unit, a method of information gathering, that is learning rule, that is also studied in detail in the coming units. An environment within which the system must operate, providing we will come back to this slide later on. I will let you know that what artificial neural network is basically all about. Standard computer versus neural network is that standard computer consists of one single CPU. That's the difference between standard computer and the neural network. In the standard computer, there is one single CPU, whereas in the neural network, it is a highly parallel processing unit. This question is usually asked in examination that what is the difference between a computer and the neural network. In the standard computer, that is one single CPU. In the neural network, it's a highly parallel processing unit. In the single computer, it's a fast processing unit, whereas in the neural network, it's a slow processing unit. In the case of standard computer, these are the reliable units, whereas in the case of neural network, these are unreliable units. In the case of standard computers, this is the static infrastructure, whereas in the case of neural network, there is dynamic infrastructure. These are some of the differences between the standard computer and the neural network. The reason is the question is asked that why we have used the artificial neural network. There are two basic reasons that why we are interested in building artificial neural networks. Then the first thing is that technical viewpoint. Some problems such as character recognition. Character recognition is a problem in which there is lot of character present, and out of those characters there is need to read a character. For example, I have already told you about the car number plate. Suppose you are designing a machine learning system in which it is able to read the number plate of that car and able to recognize its character. So that's the character recognition problem. Or the prediction of future states. Prediction of future state of a system require massively parallel and adaptive processing. So for that we are interested in artificial neural networks in which there is need to have a massive parallel and adaptive processing is the prime requirement. So that is a requirement in the case of vector recognition or prediction of future states. So that's where the ANN is used. From the biological viewpoint, that ANN can be used to replicate and simulate components of human brain. So we are trying to think that how human brain work. So as a human brain work, similarly we can imbibe something in a computer if we have machine learning algorithm such a way then that is quite you can see a very big improvement in technology because that will give us a lot of things. Still, we will not able to reach the human brain, but at least we can do most of the things. Most of the things imbibe from the human brain to the artificial network. From the biological viewpoint, thereby giving us insight into the natural information processing, that how the information is processed in a natural way. So that biological viewpoint is used in the case of artificial neural network. In the case of artificial neural network, the basic building blocks are the neurons. Uh, that neurons are in technical system, we also refer them to as units or nodes. The basic building blocks are neurons. We also refer them as units or nodes, as we have shown in the previous slides. So basically, each neuron is receives input from many other neurons. One input receives input from many other neurons, changes its internal state based on the current input. It changes the state known as activation, also known as activation. Whatever is the input present to it, it will provide the output according to that and changes its input state, and also send an output signal to many other neurons, possibly including the possibly includes the input neuron. So that is how the artificial neuron works. It consists of number of nodes or units or neurons, and each neuron receive an input, changes its state, that is activation, and send the output signal. So you can consider that is a kind of black box which takes the input and provides the output, and based on the input, it also changes the internal state. Such kind of number of black boxes are going to give you the artificial neural network. Artificial neural network is basically the information is transmitted as a series of electrical impulses and also known as spikes. The frequency and phase of these spikes encodes the information. When the information is processed from one neuron to another neuron, that is in the form of electrical impulses. So these impulses are also known as spikes, and frequency and phase of these spikes have the information in it. That how much time uh, the electric impulse is given to one neuron, its frequency, its phase. In biological system, one neuron can be connected to as many as 10,000 other neurons. That is just a number, 10,000. It may be much more than that. Nobody has an idea because nobody has this idea about the human brain. The scientists are generally simply used to imbibe whatever be in the human brain. They are imbibing in the neural network. That is just a number, that 10,000 other neurons are present. So at least this kind of this many numbers they can have in the artificial neural network. Usually a neuron receives the information from the neurons in a confined area, so called the receptive field. How do ANN works? Then ANN is either a hardware implementation or a computer program which tries to simulate the information capabilities of the biological example. It is strive to have the simulation of information capabilities of the biological example. Biological example is that of a human brain, and it tries to simulate that information capabilities in a way that you can have a computer program or hardware of it. ANN are typically composed of great number of interconnected artificial neurons. Many neurons are interconnected with each other. The artificial neurons are simplified models of their biological counterpart. The artificial neurons are made simply in a way that it is work in a human brain, that is a biological counterpart. ANN is a technique for solving problem by constructing software that works like our brain, similar to our brains. How do our brain work? That first we need to understand that. Then we will be able to understand how the ANN exactly what exactly we want that ANN should work. Our brain works that the brain is a massively parallel information processing system. Our brains are a huge network of processing elements. A typical brain consists of 10 billion neurons. This is how the basic things are available in the brain. That brain do a massively parallel processing, and the brain consists of huge number of the processing elements. These are known as neurons, and in a typical brain, this consists of more than 10 billion neurons. Uh, first, first we need to understand what brain consists of. Brain consists of a processing element. This is a kind of simple processing element in which the dendrites are the inputs. Dendroid present the inputs, and the cell body is by the processors. This cell body is basically the processor, or also known as the soma, and then synaptic is the link that basically that provides the input, the output given by this nucleus or this cell body to the another cell body, and the axon is the output, that is basically the frequency or the phase of this signal. It will receive input from the another cell, that is axon will provide output to the another cells, multiple output to the another cells, receive multiple inputs from the dendrites. So this is how the human brain works. Receive multiple inputs, provide multiple outputs by processing them within the cell body. First thing, it is an input using dendrites, processed in the processor, that is cell body, synaptics are the links, and axons are the outputs. A neuron is connected to other neurons through about 10,000 synapses. With these synapses, it is connected to the other neurons to that the information processed in this cell body is passed on to the another elements or other cells. Now also a neuron receives input from other neurons. It is not the one. It is not the one input that a neuron is received. The one neuron can receive the input from the multiple neurons. So they are the dendrites. From the inputs are received, and the multiple inputs are combined together. When the received is said to be when the input is said to be received from a dendrite, when it exceeds a particular critical level, and the neuron discharges a spike. The spike is basically an electrical impulse that travels from the body down the axon to the next neuron. This is how we have already learned that the signal is passed. In the previous slide, I have already told you that how this information is passed. Information as a series of electric impulses, that is known as spikes, and frequency and phase of these spikes encodes the information. So this is how that it works in neuron. that the spikes are present, these spikes are passed on to the next neuron in the cell. This is one neuron, and similarly there are other neurons. So from this synapses, this axon is passed from the one cell to the other cell. The axon endings almost touch the dendrites of cell body of the next neurons. You can see here that the axon 1 exit from this point touches the dendrites of the other cell body. Transmission of an electrical signal from one neuron to the next is affected by the neurotransmitters. That is the information carried signal. They are basically known as the electrical signals, and in human beings they are known as neurotransmitters. Neurotransmitters are chemicals which are released from the first neuron and which bind to the second. So neurotransmitters are the chemicals which move from one neuron and reaches to the other neurons. And this link is called a synapse. This is known as the synapse link. This synapse link is the strength of signal that reaches the next neuron depend on the factor such as the amount of neurotransmitter available. Synapses are basically that how much amount of the signal that is neurotransmitter able to send to the next neuron. That link is given. This is about that how the ANN works. This is basically a biological neuron, and similar to the biological neuron, the scientists try to make the artificial neuron. It tries to make it in a similar way. These are the dendrites that are basically the inputs. In the central processing is done at the soma, and the signal is then further passed by the axon to the other cell by the conduction process, that is the neurotransmission. So similar to the artificial biological neuron, in the artificial neuron there are inputs that are x0, x1 to the xn. They are basically the inputs via the dendrites. Isn't it the same as we are doing with the artificial neurons? These artificial neurons provide the input to the cell by some value of weights. So these weights are different for each input. So that these are multiplied with the input. So it is W0 x0, W1 x2, Wn xn. These are the input to this processing element that is similar to the soma in our biological neuron. In biological neuron, the central processing is done at soma, whereas in the case of artificial neuron, the central processing is done at the processing element, in which multiple weighted inputs are provided. That is, in our case, it is W0, W1 x1, Wn xn, and so on. These are combined together, and some activation function is applied. So that activation function is provide the output to the system, and that output is similar to the output as the axon, and that activation function is provided as our neurotransmitter are provided. So this is how the artificial neuron is imitated as human neuron. This is how the scientists try to do that, how a biological neuron can be made similar to how an artificial neuron can be made similar to the human neuron. So this is how the human neuron works. Artificial neuron works that it is having the input xn, x1 weighted with having the multiple weight w1, x2, w2, x3, w3. They are the input, and then some transfer function is applied to get the output that is fed to the other neuron. Input x1 xm, x1 x2 xm, and processed in some processing unit, and then output is taken. Since these are the given that all the inputs are taken but not all the inputs are equal, so it is multiplied by some weight. So in the processing unit they are added up, and then some activation function is applied to get the output. So mathematically this is W1 x1, W2 x2, Wm xm. That will provide me some output. Added them up, and that will provide me some output y. So that y is fed to the activation function. We will study more detail about this in the coming classes about the artificial neural network, how it works. This is how the summation Wixi is equal to y as the output. That y is fed to the transfer function or the activation. So you can see this is W1 x1, or in general we have written Wixi 1 to m. That will provide me some output Vk. For that Vk, if I apply some function f, then that resulted me then some output y. For the kth neuron, so this is only one neuron. So this output is passed to the multiple neurons. So for each neuron, yk need to be computed. The output is a function of input that is affected by the weights and the transfer function. So this is how there are outputs. You cannot see that in the previous step I have written that W1 x1, but this is not exactly true. It will have multiple neurons or the multiple addition functions having the output from multiple inputs. Say it is having W1 x1, W2 x2, W3 x3, W4 x4, and so on. Similarly, it is having WK1 x1, WK2 x2, WKm xn. Similarly, for the third activation function, W1 x1, W2 x2, W3, and so on. The multiple activation functions are there. From that activation functions, we got the output, and output of these are combined together again to result the output due, that is passed to the another activation function, which is the output function. Then it is provided by. This is the complete thing happens in a one single neuron, that is the artificial neuron. So artificial neuron the output of the function of input that is affected by weight and the multiple transfer. So artificial neural networks can do any computable function by the appropriate selection of network topology and weights value. It can compute any computable function in which the input is, the output is the function of the input x multiple x, which is any computable function. ANN can learn from experience as the multiple input are shown to it, multiple output are shown to it. It will learn from its experience, and also it learns by trial and error. Whenever we learn about ANN in detail, we will learn that how the ANN will learn from experience, from trial and error. Basically, the trial and error learning is that a continuous process, processing an input to produce an output. In terms of ANN, compute the output function of the given function, that is trial error, then evaluate this output, that is trial and error, adjust it with. First it will take the input from the multiple outputs, then evaluate those outputs, that is using the activation function, and then adjust at weights W1, W2. This is how ANN learns. that is learning by trial and error. We will do more detail in the coming classes too. There are multiple learning paradigms with the ANN. We can also do the supervised learning, unsupervised learning, and the reinforcement learning with all these with the artificial neural network. In the case of supervised learning, I have told that there is one teacher present for each of the examples. So in the case of artificial neural network, if you are doing uh, supervised learning, the network is fed with the set of training samples and it uses these samples to learn the general relationship between input and the output. First, it will need to provide with the training sample in which the output is also given. That these are the input and the corresponding output is also given. That is, we have done with the case of supervised learning. Uh, this relationship is represented by the values of weight of the trained network. So whenever we have learned about it, it will represent the weight about the trained network represent that this thing will provide me the same output. The same thing we have done in the case when we have learned about the checkers algorithm. You might have remembered that we have provided the multiple outputs to it. In that case, we have learned that we need to learn W1, W0, W1, W2 till Wn extent. X's input are present to us. We will take X's are as the checker board particular inputs that how many red pieces, how many black pieces, how many pieces are threatened by black pieces and so on. We have taken them with 3-4 inputs and 4 output reads. So supervised learning means we provide the output in a way that it will able to learn the weights of the network, that is supervised learning. Whereas in the case of unsupervised learning, the no desired output is present with the training data. With the training data, there is no desired output is shown. Usually they are faster than supervised learning. In the case of unsupervised learning, we generally do the casting and the compression kind of things with the data. That is unsupervised learning in which there is no teacher present, no output present. That what could be the output in that case? So that example I have already given you that suppose you are having the in a bucket you are having the suppose 4 different color balls, red, green, blue, pink or white balls. So all these balls are need to be segregated by machine learning algorithm. In this case, the artificial neural network are very effective for unsupervised learning because artificial neural network automatically adjusts itself that will able to learn that these are red colored balls, these are green colored balls. As we have seen in this thing in the toys of many children, that on the toy they give the many red, green, blue colored balls. So child will automatically be able to segregate them. If no one even taught them that you need to segregate it, you might have seen that child will segregate them automatically. So they are doing the unsupervised learning and they are doing the clustering kind of thing in which they have automatically learned that they need to segregate the red balls or green balls or blue balls, etc. That is unsupervised learning and ENN are very good to have unsupervised learning in the case of clustering. Another kind of learning that we can do with the ANN is the reinforcement learning. In reinforcement learning, we have, I have already told you that in the case of reinforcement learning, the reward is attached. In the case of reinforcement learning, whenever the learning algorithm makes an error or automatically produces the correct output, then the reward is provided. For example, suppose that children is shown a red ball and or an apple and that children says it's an apple, then we will provide them with a topping. And suppose you will show the children an apple and it will say that it's an orange. Then you will tell them again, no, 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 no. This is not an apple. This is not an orange. It's an apple. So we will provide some kind of reward to the output that is known as reinforcement learning. And artificial neural networks are also used for the reinforcement learning. Like supervised learning, weights are not directly related to the error value. In the case of supervised learning, whatever could be the error in the output and the input, we provide some weight, as we have already seen in the case of checkers learning algorithm that we have learned in our second class. Then this is not the same the case in the reinforcement learning. Here the error value is used as the randomly or shuffle weights. So due to this, the, the reinforcement learning is a slow learning, but we can do the reinforcement learning with the artificial neural network. Some of the application area of the artificial neural networks are we can use in the case of function approximation. For example, the time series prediction and modeling. Whenever we do the time series prediction or the modeling, ENN could be a good choice because it provides a function approximation. Like we need to have we need to provide a function for some time series prediction. For example, say you need to provide it will cost a point 20,000 times, and how many times your head will occur. So if we provide that output with some function approximation to that, then that function approximation is given by the machine learning algorithm very beautifully. The other kind of application area of the machine learning is classification that I have already told you that in the case of character recognition, then there is need to provide the multiple classes to this. So for the classification areas, the machine learning algorithm provides the good result in which there is the pattern and sequences need to recognize. Uh, these are the used in the case of radar systems, face identification, handwritten text recognition, etc. In the case of data processing, the artificial neural network also provide good results including filtering, clustering, uh, blind source separation, and the compression, etc. As we have seen previously also that for the unsupervised learning, the clustering algorithm will provide you the best output as it will be able to segregate between the red balls and the blue balls. So similar to that, you can automatically segregate the email spam or the normal spam, or you need to mine some kind of data. Then that we can use the artificial neural networks. The advantages and the disadvantages of artificial neural network is that regarding advantages, it adapts to the unknown situations beautifully. It is powerful that it can model complex functions, easy to use, learn by example, and very little user domain specific expertise needed. You just provide the input, it will domain specific expertise is not needed too much because you just provide the input. Most of the time, it will automatically learn what that input is all about. Disadvantage that forget about the things. It is not so much accurate. It's not exact, and large complexity of the network structure. It is very complex also. So about the conclusion that artificial neural networks are an imitation of the biological neural networks, but much simpler ones. The computing would have a lot to gain from neural networks. The ability to learn by example makes them very flexible and powerful. Furthermore, there is the need to devise an algorithm in order to perform these specific tasks. Whenever we learn in more classes that we will be able to know that how these neural networks learn in the we will learn about the more details about the neural network. So this class is basically about the basics of neural networks, how it works. If you still have any doubts or anything, you can ask your question. Anyone, if you want to ask anything, you can ask. Sir, we can, Ashish has asked a question that, sir, can you provide us notes of first and second chapter and very details learned from different books and reading? Ashish, I have referred a book from Michelle and I have provided that book to you. So if you learn from that book, I am just that book directly. In my all slides, you will get very similar to the Tom Michelle. So I don't from to that. Still,